Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing wonderfully. It's Julian from Beneath the Bunk Studios. Today, we are not beneath the bunk once again. However, it is okay because the show must go on and I'm at school and there's not really anything we could do about it anyway. Today, we are discussing volume automation and how it pertains to drum parts and how we can make your grooves a little bit more evident and how we can help things not get lost in the mix. So let's do that and jump right into Cubase. So just so you guys know, this is a session from a band called Ape Brutality. They're from Pennsylvania. I just finished up producing a couple songs from them. Great guys, great songs. Go check them out. Show them all your love and affection. Here's a section of the song we're going to be working with. It's called You're Alive.
Don't put me with you. Don't take me downtown.
So for anybody that doesn't know what automation is, I'm going to discuss that for a second. So if you do know what automation is and you're going to want to rip your ears off if you listen to this whole part, skip to this timestamp right here so you don't want to rip your ears off. So what is automation? Automation is a wonderful thing that allows us to have the utmost control over pretty much any parameter we could possibly need control over. So let's say, just as just a quick example of a time you might want to use automation, let's say you got a really heavy rock and metal song and in the chorus, the drums are meant to be really powerful, in your face, punchy, all that kind of stuff. But in the verse, you have some clean guitars, you have some softer vocals, you have just an overall softer part. This is an instance where automation would come in handy quite a bit because what you might want to do is just simply turn down the volume of the drums during the chorus. So let's see this here. So let's say the kick drum, hypothetically, this isn't what's going on in this song, but let's say the kick drum is too quiet at this part right here. I mean, it's too loud at this part, and it's just the right volume at this part. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this alone because it's at the right volume at this part. But at this part, we're going to go here, we're going to hover over it, and we're going to just turn it down. So you'll see that the fader right here is at negative 1.85, but when I bring it over here, it's at negative 9.90. So I turned down the kick drum a whole lot. So that's a scenario where, let's say your kick drum is too loud in one part, but not another part. You just turn it down during that part so that you don't have to affect the volume of the kick drum throughout the rest of the song. Not every song has a static mix that you could just leave it and everything's going to sound good throughout the whole thing. So volume automation within the scope of this video is a little bit different because we're talking about volume automation on individual kick hits and parts of a song. In other contexts, this might work in snares, cymbals, but for now we're talking about kicks. So if you take a look at this part of the song, you'll notice that he's playing 16th notes on the kicks here, and then it sort of slows down a little bit. Let's play that part of the song again so you can hear what it sounds like. And I'm going to delete these because that's what I'm going to show you.
Don't put me with you.
So if you're paying attention during this part, the kicks kind of disappear a little bit. They get a little bit lost when the vocal's happening. They're maybe conflicting with them a little bit, and that's just a big part where a lot of stuff's happening. At the same time, though, we don't want that to happen because the kicks are kind of a key part in this groove. They're showing the listener where to bob their head, so to speak. They're really emphasizing that dum, bum, 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 and you want that to kind of stay in there. So that's what we're going to be discussing right now. At the end of the day, you could have the coolest drum part in the world, but if you can't hear it and you can't hear some of the elements of what's going on, you don't know that it's the coolest drum part in the world. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to undo what I just did, and we're going to raise up the volume of these two parts. So this is, like I said, the volume automation lane for the kick. So if we play that again, we're going to hear the kick part where it's perfectly fine. I could hear everything here, and then everything's going to be more emphasized here to really emphasize that groove. Let's check it out.
Don't put me with you.
I'll get rid of it so you could hear what it was like before.
Don't put me with you.
So yeah, with it, definitely a lot more hard hitting, definitely easier to hear where the groove is. So let's check that out in another section of the song. It's pretty much the same exact thing. You got your dun, dun right here, and then you got some faster stuff that's not really having any issues poking through the mix. So let's get rid of the automation that I had done on the final song, and let's listen back and see what it would sound like if I didn't do any of that. So it's cool, it's fine, like you could tell what's going on in the song for the most part. However, it just doesn't hit as hard as I would like it to. So we're going to add that automation back in with a little Control-Z undo action, and we're going to press play again and hear what it sounds like now. So as you could tell, definitely easier to hear the kicks, definitely easier to hear the groove. Overall, it's just harder hitting, and it's just feels, you could feel it more. That's how I would describe it. You could feel it more. There are obviously plenty of other instances you could use this. I mean, say you have a snare roll or you have some sort of cool drum fill that's just not hitting the way you'd like it to, not hitting the way the drummer intended for it to hit within the context of the mix. Automate the hits a little bit, put accents where the drummer meant to put accents, if you could tell. Overall, the key here is to try to think like a drummer. Even if you're not a drummer, which I'm not, put yourself in their shoes and try to almost, add accents for them a little bit if they're not doing it well enough themselves. And even if they are doing it well enough themselves, this is kind of a nice way to even push it a little bit farther, a little bit more over the top if it's needed. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I really hope you got something out of this. Remember, at the end of the day, like I said before, you could have the coolest drum part in the world, but if the listener can't tell what the drummer's playing, you got a bored listener and you got a mad drummer, and you don't want either of those things. So this tip should definitely help you if you're in that kind of a situation. I encourage you to try using automation within all sorts of capacities, given that you can pretty much do anything with it. Try it out in your next production. Try to do something different. Just switch it up a little bit. I promise you will come up with some stuff you wouldn't have come up with otherwise. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day/night. I will see you soon.